So Keith Youngblood's a guy. He likes to have a good time. He likes to rock and roll with the fans. Most importantly, he likes to wrestle, man. Bell to bell. He's a fighter. He's somebody who won't be put down. He's relentless. And that's kind of the way it is.
I like that, and I think that's the number one thing too. Like as I'm still like I'm long in the tooth as far as like my age wise, but I'm young in the game as far as like me actually being in. And it's one of those things that I've learned too. Is just like you if as long as you're genuine to like who you are and what you're trying to portray, like the fans are gonna gravitate towards that. Like if you're forcing something, fans are gonna see through the fakeness of it.
Always.
You got to be authentic to who you are. So I thought it was funny when I was on, I think it was on Twitter, I was on Facebook, something like that, and someone had put out there, if your character is you cranked up to 100 or to 11, then you're boring. And I was like, I beg to differ. I was like, I've seen tons of people, and I guess like the 9-10 rule always can apply, but like I've always understood it as the more authentic you are, the more you are you, the more you've invested of you and the one thing that you want to like pull out of you to portray to fans, like they're gonna connect to it because it's you. It's
Yeah,
authentically
yeah,
you.
absolutely. And I think it's a good point to be made there too, where you can make the argument that if it's just you turned up, you're boring, and a character that is completely opposite of your individual personality can still be engaging, but it has to be authentic in some way. There needs to be a
Yeah.
kernel of truth there that you can bite into as a performer to then flip it on its head and broadcast it. Brock Lesnar is somebody who lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't really prefer to be around people, and that's the way the story goes. But then he's out there in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and he's a monster, and he's an animal, and he's a killer, and it's not really the guy who's sitting at home at his ranch. That's completely different from who he is as a person. But clearly there's some authenticity there because he's a big bad dude who's going to whoop you.
Yeah.
So, it can be different, but there has to be that kernel that anchors it to reality. Otherwise, like you said, the fans see through it.